Okay, that's fine.
Just bring up a side window.
I might pull it up. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna have to do.
Yeah. So, hello and welcome to Shifting Lanes Live, aka the Shifting Lanes Garage Podcast. My name is Chad. As you can see, I'm actually next to a physical manifestation of Greg.
It's me. Hello. We're in the same place for once.
We are finally in the same place. Greg is refusing to be in frame. Close.
Hello.
The whole stream's going to be like this. We have with us the one, the only, the Elliott Alvis. He's been nice enough to join us for our new car reveal,
Yes.
which is behind us, which hopefully we're blocking. No seeing that. Yes, Greg, you make an excellent curtain. But
There.
Welcome everyone. Elliott, how you doing, my friend? I don't think Elliott can hear us.
I don't think you can hear us either. Oh,
All
you can.
right.
There we go. I'm here now.
The man, the myth, the legend himself has arrived.
I was like, oh,
Hello.
Hey, what's going on?
I'm back.
Uh,
I am back.
Yes. Well, thank you to Elliott for joining us. As always, he's a recurring monthly guest. Appreciate you being here. And if you want to follow him, he's a YouTuber. He is on social media. He does all sorts of cool stuff with cars on Worldwide Auctioneers stuff. So please go follow him at his socials as per usual. Search Elliott Alvis and you'll find him.
Yes, thank you. Wow, it's good to be here. It is weird to see you guys in the same place. This feels like a fever dream or
We're
something.
real.
There's supposed to be like
yes,
a divider.
We actually, Greg and I aren't actually blowing smoke. We do actually do this. We know each other and we live relatively
exist.
close to each other. But real quick, guys, as people kind of filter on, I just wanted to, before we get to the car, I just wanted to ask both of you guys, and we'll start with Elliott. What is your favorite car you've ever owned?
Ooh.
See, and I know you kind of let me know this question was coming a little bit. So I've had a little bit of time to think. We've actually kind of talked about it. While most people would think, well, first of all, I've had a lot of great cars. I think the obvious choice would be the Hellcat. But, and while I did love that car for, plethora of reasons, I mean, it was awesome. I loved the car. But my favorite car I've ever had, and I know it's my kid, some cringe, but I think we talked about this, I had a 350Z Roadster manual, but when they were new. So let me give you a little caveat here, because obviously we all know what those are like now. But when they were new, it was a really cool car, and like more importantly than that, I owned it at that time in my life when it was so special, and it was the coolest thing in the world. So almost more so than, I've driven faster cars, nicer cars, whatever else you put the thing, but it was in the right time, right place to have this. This is the best. This is the most I've ever loved a motor vehicle, core memory feeling. And I think that's why, like, every time I see him, now I'm a little sad. Sometimes I'm like, man, these things have really gone to crap. But it just, at the time and at the feeling, that was just the perfect car. It sounded good. It looked good. I was that young, excited kid, and something about them brings that back for me. So that, believe it or not, out of everything, that is my favorite car I've ever owned.
And it's not what I was expecting. I was expecting it to start with core and end with vet.
Yeah. Well, so but that's the other thing, is I also have a C4 Corvette, and that's the car I would house before I sell that car. So technically, I guess that's the favorite car I've ever owned, but I still own it. So a little different on that one. Maybe I was taking out of all of them that have come and gone, which is your favorite. And I'd say it's the chasing that feeling again is kind of what keeps us in the biz, honestly.
I was expecting it to start with Maz and end in Ratty.
Well, that's my current favorite car.
Yeah.
Did you pull up? Thank you for my.
Oh, yeah, that was completely unintentional.
Picture.
The AI
Yeah.
did that up.
A mashup of a picture of me. with
Streamlabs
college.
is doing a thing, and I don't know
Oh,
why.
that's so good.
Nice.
But
Not now, computer.
Oh.
Not now.
Okay. Hear you again.
in answering the question that Chad posed, I would probably say, I mean, you can probably guess
I
what it
can't
is,
hear
but
you.
it's probably, obvious. It's
Your
not
two-door
it's-
Honda
it's-
Accord?
It's not a Volvo. Yeah, my two-door Honda Accord. No, um, no, it is. It is the Aston Martin V8
No,
Vantage
you're
for
just
sure.
online, right?
Don't.
It is the Aston Martin V8 Vantage, formerly owned by Doug DeMuro, formerly owned
Make sure
by
it's not-
Freddie Tavares Hernandez, then owned by me, then owned by a guy named John Atlanta, and now also currently owned again by Freddie Tavares Hernandez. So that is my that is probably my favorite, followed closely by my Volvo V70R, just because it's such a unique and cool car, which I ended up seeing at Carlisle, which was very cool. But yeah, I'd say the Vantage just because it's an Aston Martin. I mean, exotic, hand-built British sports car. It's very tough to beat that.
No, I mean that was an absolutely epic choice. I mean
Yeah.
that was such a.
Hello?
That, I will say this to this day because those of you who know me.
I hear noise again.
Those of you who know me know that I'm a bit of a horsepower addict. But that Aston Martin had the perfect amount of horsepower with
Yeah, they're not moving.
the right amount of presence. So
Oh, we're
it
talking
was
about paper towels. I can tell that much.
that thing was such a cool car.
Why can't I do?
Maybe it's my internet.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. This has been a brilliant live chat. Can you guys hear
course,
me?
you can't hear us.
That's the.
I can hear you.
There we
clear
go.
as day.
I heard him say something. And
Just
nothing again.
well, we went quiet.
Well, just pretend I'm not here, and I'll let you know if I
Uh,
get back in.
all right. Any rate, I guess. Say again.
Can you hear us now?
Yes, I can hear you now. So I was
Okay,
like, it
excellent.
stopped though.
Fantastic. So I guess the reason I asked this question is that because without any shadow of a doubt, sorry to anyone who is here hoping for the C30 to be the answer to that question for me, or even the OGs going all the way back to my Lexus or the M3 or anything like that. It was without question the Silver Mustang. And I had no intention of selling it. I had no intention of, changing some modification. Like, I had plans for this summer that were, as everybody knows here, were nuked by fire.
Yeah, you had no intentions of immolating it.
Yeah. I'm just standing over.
Yeah. We needed you here, Elliot. We needed an extra breath. No.
I mean, that said, we the first responders could not have gotten there any quicker, and they could not have done a better job than what they were.
They did a really good job, is what
got
Chad's
there
trying
so-
to
they
say.
got
He's,
there so
he's
fast.
trying to do stuff on Streamlabs and talk at the same time. It's not
Yeah.
working.
Yeah,
The firefighters fought the fire.
Yeah. They did the thing they were
they
supposed to
did.
do.
well,
They
it's
did the
actually
thing
the
that's
cops fought the
literally
fire.
in
The
there.
firefighters just kind of showed up and was like, "All right, well, I guess we'll cut that wire so this doesn't happen while we're not here."
Yeah. Good call.
And then they were just like, "All right, we're out."
Hey, sometimes
So
that
it was an experience that I never want to repeat. So there we go.
With that said,
With that said, we're going to go and sorry, I'm using Greg's rig, and as we all know, Greg and technology don't mix.
I mean, they do, but my technology foibles only seem to happen when you're around, Chad. So I'm going to blame everything on
Hey,
you.
you're the IT guy.
always. But yeah, I just have like a gaming laptop, so apologies if there's any like wonkiness tonight because we're in
Well, I
the
think
same
what it
place.
is we're on Wi-Fi tonight as opposed to my usual
Yes.
hardwire,
Yeah.
that sort of thing. But I think now is a pretty decent time. We have some people here. Just we have Jesse. Thank you for joining us. I regret
And
selling
thank
his
you for the
Xbox.
100 stars, good sir.
Just I don't know why that didn't. Yay. Doug, what's going on? Sean, welcome. Steve, welcome. Yeah, and Sean makes the not at all tired and old joke of typically when first responders come to a Mustang call, they have to attend to the 14 hip and leg injuries from becoming bowling pins. I'll be honest, they shouldn't have been standing there. But
That's true. That's a
fault.
good Mustang owner response. Be like, shouldn't have been there.
I mean, at this
Typical
point,
Mustang
at this
response.
point, you're seeing Mustang leave Cars and Coffee. The people standing there are more to blame because they know there's a history.
They should know at this point. That's
They
a
egg
good
it on.
call.
Although, as a sidebar, the one that shut down Wichita's Cars and Coffee was an Altima. Absolutely
It's okay.
astonishing.
Well, just chuck another up to the Ultima list of Ultima drivers and
Yeah.
why they are terrible.
And then
Exactly.
to answer Doug's question, we are on a slightly lower bit rate than we usually are. Again, Greg's Wi-Fi versus my hardwired connection when I usually host it from my house. This is kind of our
Nice
first
work, Greg.
on location thing, but
I like that Steve just responded, I don't even know what you said. About min bit rates.
it's not crypto. In case anyone was wondering,
Yes. No shit coins.
I don't know. Maybe it's you trying to play Forza on keyboard and mouse, Doug. That's an inside thing. Doug just recently got Forza and tried it on keyboard and mouse.
Ooh.
It's hard enough on controller,
Bad call.
let alone that. But at any rate, without further ado, guys,
Go.
Greg's going to hit the transition button,
Literally just hit the button.
and here is me awkwardly trying to navigate Briggs. But there's the new car. It is another
Boom.
Mustang,
Hey,
but this one is
look at that.
AirPods falling out of ears. Stewart's our OG. Well, you'll remember that. But it is the facelift, so you can tell by the front and the hood here. The difference between this and my Mustang, old Mustang, is this is a 2019. The original one was a 2015, and this has basically there's a few little minor differences between the.
Well, before you get into the differences in the actual car, I have a question for Elliott. Is this what you expected Chad to get? Because I know you gave us like
I
a
mean,
list, obviously,
With
and
every fiber of my
pitched some
being, it was
ideas
like,
to him.
It was, I think it was always going to be a Mustang. Obviously, I would have liked to have seen him dip outside of his comfort zone there.
Agreed.
But he made a compelling argument here with the whole, like, he didn't want to get rid of his first one. It makes total sense to get another one. So, yeah. And that being said, also, I love this one. Like I said, we've talked about, and if you can't see from back here, those RQR wheels just make it look so freaking cool.
Yeah.
These wheels are absolutely a win. And the bonus is that up front here we have
Brembos.
75s and we have 305s out back. So it's already got fatter rubber, which is awesome. I do have to get the front tires replaced, but that's getting resolved shortly. We won't go into that just yet. But like I was saying, like the major difference between this one and my other one is under the hood. Now, we are going to get into this next time Elliott's with us.
It's a V6.
Right? Hold on. Greg, camera. We're content creators. We do this all the time. Another big difference that I didn't realize when I got this, and I almost dropped the hood on my hand. The other one had hood struts.
Oh, this one does not.
This one doesn't, and it is still ridiculously warm in here.
It's got a
But
prop rod.
this is a Gen 3 Coyote.
Yeah, it's got a prop. Yeah, I didn't realize that. It didn't have like the gas struts.
So this is a Gen 3. So the biggest thing with difference with that is higher compression, 12 to 1. It is actually like 5 to 10 cc bigger than a Gen 2. This is just over 5 liters. The Gen 2 is just under 5 liters. A little bit direct injection and port injection, which is really, really good for creating horsepower. Because we can run similar timing to the 11 to 1 compression that we had on the last one with the same levels of boost, which means more horsepower. So we can absolutely, so I guess while we have everything, we'll sit back down here for a second and kind of go over the car and kind of touch base with our favorite people in the world that aren't named Elliott, aka Chat.
There's one Elliott in the chat though. Let's not alienate him. It's usually.
Yeah, Elliott Manning, right?
So
Yeah.
Are you two best friends yet? Because hey, Elliott.
well, my first
Not
thing
yet.
when
We're
I
not
see
like
Elliott Manning,
we're not like the gathering of the Kyles where we get together yet. But it is so rare to see another person named Elliott that I should just send a friend request every single time I see
There's
another person
literally
online.
a
I'm like,
kid
dude,
up my street whose name is Elliott, and I'm like, you're like the only 3 I know ever.
Yeah,
As long as
so
I've been
they-
alive, that have
like-
been named Elliott.
I know. Maybe that's my quest. I need to band us together so we're stronger. Because we probably get picked off by being so isolated like this.
I mean, you should bring it up at Elliott Con this year.
Also, in a related
to
story,
organize one
we
first.
should start an Elliott Con.
So
Yeah, so I was gonna say, I was like, I'm down.
But no, I mean, to Elliott's point, I'm
Sorry,
comfortable
go
with this platform. So again, you guys know what cars I was looking at: the ATSV, the RCF, and one C7Z06 specifically. But what it really came down to is to match the power that I had in the old car. This is the most fiscally responsible way of doing it.
For sure. Not starting from a fresh lead.
Yeah, well,
So,
because
Correct.
simple stuff like all the stuff that I have in the rear end of my car, the stop, the hop, the axles, etc. We can literally just drop the subframes out of the car. And when I say we, I mean 100% Jeff over at Blue Sky because I won't be doing squad.
Yeah,
But
and not you at all.
but I like to think I'm the crew chief or the the inspiration, and they take my money and get shit done in a very high end manner. But literally drop the subframe on both cars, plop the other one from the old car into this. There's some hardware things that are different on the Gen 3 for the supercharger, but we're not talking a ton of money. And then it's basically just labor. So the things I need to buy are injectors, because the injector loom got a little toasty in the fire, so we're not 100% on the quality of that.
What's that?
is it called a womb?
Did I say that? I thought I said loom.
I heard.
Oh, I
loom.
thought you said. Oh, okay, see, that's the bit rate talking. I heard
Well,
womb, and I'm like, whoa.
We're gonna call it an injector womb from now on. That's for sure.
I thought you were talking like that's its little home where the injector is. It's like it's its womb, and I'm like, oh my god.
It's a little baby.
Have I not heard this term?
I mean, we're not going to call it horsepower anymore. We're just like, all right, we have the power of 10 million infants.
It's the horsepower is the result of injector babies. So,
100%. Yes, definitely using that terminology from now on.
yep. Sorry,
But,
thanks for the bit rate because I swear I heard womb, but yeah, the injector loom was a little bit more cooked.
But no, it's one of those things where I just had to be smart. I was really, really tempted by the other cars just to do something new, do something different, to check another car I've always wanted off of my list. But I'm, again, addicted to horsepower. And this is the most, like I said, fiscally responsible method of doing so.
Well, you also like you talked about in the last one that I was on. It's that unfinished project. It's like our version of having unfinished business. You would always be like, man, what could that have been? And that would have been like this unscratched itch for who knows, probably forever.
Yeah. I have a question for you, Elliot, because I know I already asked, you know, you had the list. You're not really that surprised, obviously, because Chad has all the parts basically for this thing. Is there a
Right.
favorite on the list that you had given Chad that you wished he would have bought?
Don't say that freaking S at 197 or whatever Mustang. That was clapped out.
That Mustang with the big wing.
The
that was like-
$15,000
yeah, that thing
one that was
pretty
just
sweet.
a dumpster fire.
Well, I don't, it was like Whipple Supercharged.
Of the
It was
li-
really-
of-
that
I
no,
guess
I
we'll rephrase that. But of the cars you gave me, which would be the one you would most likely buy?
I know that you would have. I think because I also know like I gave you a list of just for, being like here's what it could have been. Of the things that I know you were actually considering, I would have loved to see somebody I personally know with an ATS-V build and see like kind of heard what that was going to be like, in actual ownership. Because I think we've all driven one. We're like, this is fantastic, but like I don't know much. It would have been really cool to see that ownership experience
It was close.
unfold.
It was a real close
yeah.
call. When
And
I narrowed
obviously
it
the
down,
other
it was
thing
between
that I would-
these and the ATS-V, because the ATS-V would have again been fairly inexpensive horsepower. Those things you can get close to 550 wheel for about $5,500, which would have been easily attainable just by selling the motor out of the old car.
Which is a good
Right.
deal. That's a good amount of power for not a ton of money.
I mean, turbo cars,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
downpipe
wild
tune,
power.
exhaust
Yeah.
intake.
True.
So
But
it was close.
And obviously, I would have loved for you to enter the Corvette side. That's the other thing. But I mean, I knew there was a lower percentage chance of that happening. But it would have been. I think you would have really liked that platform. As a modding base and everything else going forward. But
Again,
I mean,
it
like I
was one
said,
of those things I considered,
go ahead.
but in my the C6 Z06s get the 40,000 and under of them now all have a little bit of it's like there was one actually Greg found and sent me in Florida.
It's the Florida one. There's one in town actually, up the road from us, at a dealership that's for what I think it was 41K,
41.
25,000 miles, and I'm like, not bad.
Wait, for a Z06?
Yeah, C6 Z06, 41K,
Oh, C6 Z06. I thought you were saying
25,000 miles,
C7 Z06.
2007.
I was like, wow.
Yeah.
So, but you're 40,000 and under, you're starting to get into this could be a screamer of a deal, or it's hiding some demons.
Right. That's true.
And I thought about the Grand Sport for a minute, but if I got that car, I would always be like, I want that.
Yeah.
That LS7, man. That is one of.
Exactly.
It's definitely in the top 2 favorite American engines ever made, for me.
It is. It's so cool. But no, I think, like I said, you made the best choice given everything. I mean, all the pieces put together, that makes the best sense. And honestly, like I said, the car you ended up with, it wasn't just like a Mustang. I mean, that particular one is super cool. As I'm sure you're going to go into, it's not just the wheels, right? It has other stuff on
Yeah,
it
it has
as well.
it has BC Racing coilovers.
Oh, this has BCs on it?
Yeah.
No shit. Let me look.
Yeah. Do not touch the adjustment. Don't pull a what is it? I think it was Hurt.
only
in
twist
a
one knob.
Hoonigan video where he just turned the knob on one strut, an indeterminate amount of clicks.
That's what I was going to say. It's like only twist one knob.
Greg, I know you're an expert at twisting one knob, but don't do it.
Hey.
But and it also has a Borla Attack ATAK exhaust, which sounds incredible, but it's also the loudest exhaust for this platform.
Yeah, as a person
Right.
that heard you roll in, this is the exhaust for this car. It sounds ridiculously good.
It goes back to, we were talking about it last week, but it goes back to like there's no need to straight pipe these. Coyotes in general, the second you get the stock exhaust off, are loud.
Yeah, they are.
So there's no need for it. So those were the two basic things. I will admit that the exhaust did kind of pique my interest on this because catback exhausts on the S550s are stupid how expensive they are. And it's the one part on my car that isn't a direct transfer because what they went from dual exhaust to quad tips in 2018 and newer. And
Gotcha.
I have a question again for Elliott. I think I'm going to be doing this all night because
I like how you're pointing to Elliott on the screen.
Elliott, you that I'm looking at, that guy right there.
Yeah.
Since you have extensive car knowledge and ownership, obviously we know like what Chad's doing with this, what he's doing with his old one. But I'm curious from a Corvette perspective, since you're like you're our de facto Corvette guru, if you will.
Corvette spurt. Yeah.
With the older models, I know the C4 is like sort of a baby of yours. For modifications on a C4, what are we looking at as far as like pricing on like sort of like the basics? A couple of handling mods, maybe coilovers, maybe some like sway bars, things like that. Exhaust, not a real engine. Shut up. But sort of your basic thing, because obviously like BC Racing coilovers makes me think of like, oh, what other platforms are similar to this that are more budget friendly? C4s specifically, because those are very affordable in the Corvette world.
For sure. And to answer the question, I had to begin with like the biggest caveat of C4 ownership is that the aftermarket compared to 5, 6, 7, and 8 is so narrow. It's because it was, they just don't make that many things for it. Now they do, but you don't have the competition and the variety that you do, with C5 and up. It's almost as if they figured out in 1997 with the C5, they're like, oh man, people are putting parts on these things. Companies sprouted off from there, and they just were like, no, we're only making it from this Corvette and up. And unfortunately, the C4, for the most part, other than a few specialty chops, kind of falls by the wayside. That being said, it's not like I don't have parts on mine. They do make parts. Some of them are of lesser quality because it's like, hey, we're the only people making these, either you want it or you don't. Like your header, options are pretty limited to like hooker headers, out of a Jegs catalog. And I have Borla exhaust on my Corvette. There's only one kind you can get, and it might have made the car quieter. I'm not even sure. But the cost is relative. I mean, it's been a while since I've bought mods for it, but I do know they do make coilover sets. And the good news is they also make sets that allow you to put C5 caliper, brake calipers and rotors on this thing, and they kind of allow you to retrofit some stuff.
Okay.
But what you're getting out of the C4, you're getting a huge bargain in original purchase price, but you're putting yourself in a limited area aftermarket-wise, unless there's a shop that will practically go all custom. I'm trying to think. It's not Art Morrison, not the tube chassis company, but there's a company that starts with a D that makes a lot of chassis upgrades for the C4. Thick sway bars, coilovers, stuff like that. Price-wise, I really think they're about the same as a modern car. The last time I looked. Now, performance bolt-on mods, you are pretty much limited to like an intake, which, believe it or not, I think even the experts say the stock intake with what they call an open face is like the most efficient because it's already kind of a straight shot back there. It doesn't do the whole zigzag through a bunch of different noise canceling chambers to, a maze to get to the intake. So I have like the open face on that, and it's literally just like a different lid to the rectangular cover that's sticking down to the front of the car.
Right.
But it makes a pretty big difference in sound and horsepower. My Borla exhaust was probably, at the time, $1,200, maybe $1,800, and it's a catback. I don't know how much. They're probably much more than that now, and if they even still make them, because like I said, there can't be that many new people wanting to spend. That's the other thing. They've kind of fallen into that almost like F-150 owner. Are you going to spend real money on an actual tuned exhaust, or are you just going to sawzall the muffler off and put some stuff back in? Because you can't argue with it. It's like it's gonna be louder,
right?
But it's
like,
just
like you said,
the C4 market is just
dark.
odd.
Like you said, this is in stark contrast to like C5s, especially C6s. obviously anything after that C7, C8, there's like a bajillion
Oh,
things out
yeah,
there, but like
and it's
C6s
like I said, you
seem
have
to
a
be like
million.
the one, at least for me, from when I did like basic searches online. You search like C6 modifications, and there's just an unending page count of like Google things that you could potentially do to those cars.
Because the C5 started that. Because I mean, the C5 was right around and like when everybody had the internet and people were, wanting these cars. And I mean, I even remember as a kid, I hadn't seen a heavily modified Corvette newer until the C5 started coming around. I remember like one of my friend's dads when we were younger was like he had a C506, and we thought that the fact that it was loud and had an exhaust was like that's why I've never heard a new car sound like this. It's because they started making parts for them that you could get yourself online. You didn't have to go to a speed shop and like figure stuff out. There was a real market after the C5, and then of course everybody saw how great of a platform the C5 was, and they're like, we need to make even more stuff for the C6. I mean, I can't imagine how daunting it would be getting into the hobby with a stock C6 and saying, I want to modify this, and then being absolutely smacked in the face when you just go C6 exhaust, and there's hundreds of options.
Millions.
You'd be like, oh gosh,
Yeah.
where do I start? It's like
Now,
with the C4, it's C4, Corsa, Borla, and I'm pretty sure that's it.
yeah, and there's the reason why I'm asking all these questions too. So with that, and you own a V7ER, the whole reason I asked the C4 question is because when you compare the V7ER and what you know about the Volvo modding from your ownership and from like the stuff that I did, because I know you said you like watched those videos and had a basic knowledge of like what mods can be done to like that platform, but also owning the C4, which one would you say is more restrictive, the C4 or like the Volvo? Because you can do stuff to Volvos. There are certain things, yes, but it's not like having a Civic or a Subaru or a Mustang or an old or a late model Corvette. So which one would you say is better, or there's more options?
I would say this. I'd say there's still way more options for the Volvo, which is odd considering kind of it being a niche vehicle as it is. Restrictive in the sense of the Volvos, they're both restrictive, obviously, but one is more restricted than the other because like C4, it's like it's of that age now where you even have to find a shop who's willing to do stuff to it, that sort of thing. The V70R is tempting because you can do all of this stuff to it, but it has these vulnerabilities, like the block and everything like being an issue. So you could do a bunch of stuff, but if you do your research at all, you're going to be like, you want to either be careful or, do this, do so much preventative maintenance, not preventative, you know what I mean? So many supporting mods, including like sleeving your block, which is a pretty extreme thing to do before modding a car. But if you were to do that, then the sky's the limit pretty much with the V70R versus you have as just a regular guy, even a regular car guy, you're limited in what you can do to the C4 before you start building heads and doing these things that kind of, for most people, require a shop or somebody else kind of doing stuff. I mean, it's just and also not to mention the V70R is to a degree tunable at home. Like it's a modern interface. It has OBD2 for God's sake. I mean, the Corvette didn't get OBD2 until like '96, like the last year of the C4. So if something's going on with the Volvo, I've got a computer that'll tell me exactly what it is. And it's the same thing that they're going to use at the Volvo dealership.
Right.
You don't really. I have the GM Tech 1, which is this big, like imagine the TI-84 calculator times 2 with a pixel display that's a few characters long.
Very high tech.
It works. It will tell you codes, but it's like this was the beginning of all this stuff, which is kind of why it's cool too, but really more intimidating to the at-home owner. Because I mean, you can't even take it to, if you were to throw a code, you can't even. I don't even know if O'Reilly's would be able to plug in to most C4s. They'd be like, I don't know what that connection is, versus whatever. I just think that they're both restrictive, but I think the Volvo gives you not only more options because you have places like FCP Euro that just have a bunch of stuff. You've got stuff for the C4 and stuff, but a lot of it's boomer mods. Like, I'm going to put somehow mirror plastic things on every engine cover, or even places that were not covered. I want it to be covered and mirror.
Right.
But
and the whole reason
those aren't performance mods, obviously.
Yeah, and the whole reason I ask all that to you because one, you're like I said, our Corvette guru, and like have owned platforms that a lot of people that watch and listen would be interested in, but also Now, finally getting back to this guy sitting to the right of me in this car
Yes.
is, I think personally, and because I asked you that question of like, were you surprised? What would you like to see him in? And then all of that. I'm glad you did this because of any car that I think we own, this has the largest amount of aftermarket support that you could humanly want in a car. And I love these cars.
Yes.
I've driven them. You obviously own one. Two. Yeah, two now. One unfortunately, one fortunately.
One crazier than the other.
One unfortunately met a demise, yes. But I'm glad that you did get this because of the amount of aftermarket support, because of the amount of things that you could potentially do, but also just because like there are so many people that are building these things now. Like the C4, like you said, Elliott, like you'd have to take it to like a speed shop. Even now, like you'd probably have to like bring it to a place to actually like do any work on it. You can still do that with this, but also you can kind of tinker with it at home because there's so much aftermarket and they're easy enough to work on that it's modern. It's a way more modern car so that you can actually do those things.
And one thing to mention as YouTubers, though, one thing that's very valuable is it's not only like they're not only the forums and the instructions and everything that's available online. There's almost a how-to video to do anything you want to on that car, making it a lot more possible.
Yeah, really good point.
Nobody in their right mind, all these old dudes or whatever, even the young kids that get C4, it's not like they're going, oh, I should probably make a video on how to replace the, OptiSpark, or I guess there probably are videos on that. But there's all these weird things if you wanted to do. You're like, you might be the only guy who's ever wanted to do that.
Right.
What you might actually want to check
luckily
out, and anyone else in chat, but is you might want to check out Matt Carricker's C4 ZR1 build.
Oh, is that the barn find one that we were talking about?
No, this wasn't a barn find. So Matt Carricker is the second channel of Demolition Ranch. He's a gun tuber, whatever. We're not.
Oh,
but his second channel, he does car stuff. So he just won a Cletus and Cars Burnout comp with a first-gen Mustang that is Mustang in the front, Ranchero in the back, with a semi-built Power Stroke with a compound turbo setup in the front.
That'll win a burnout contest for sure. You make the black smoke up front and the white back, yeah.
But he does a lot of stuff with cars on that channel. Like that channel meanders, so it's like, but it's where he dumps everything that isn't his bread and butter channel, right? But he had a C4 ZR1 that he worked on, he restored, and then he eventually ended up sending the motor out to get built. I forget how much power it actually ended up putting down, but it was close to 600 if memory serves. But
I would love to know like the research they would take to anybody to even take on that motor. I mean, if you tell somebody it's an original dual overhead cam overhead LT5, they'd be like, no, we're not messing with that.
I think it was
like we talked about last time, like that motor is pretty special.
Yeah.
Could have been more special if
but
GM just was like,
that's so
okay,
cool.
yeah, we can do different bore spacing for like the 7 people who are actually going to care.
I know. But like I said, it's got enough electronics on it that some of it still needs to be dealt with, but there's not anybody like that knows, even the faster proms guy, I think that's how he made his money, was figuring out how to tune LT1s, because it was like they have enough computer stuff that it can't really work without it. But it's not tunable like hook a laptop up to it kind of thing. So it's a very odd space in time these engines exist. And then for one that complicated, I mean, I just can't even. What an undertaking.
I can't remember what he did for Engine Man. He may have even gone like some form of standalone.
Some sort of standalone, yeah. But
just makes things so much easier with that stuff. But like back to the Mustang, like the reason these things are so easily moddable is just what you get from factory. So like you get OBD2. Or I'm sorry, hot wideband O2 sensors. Which is huge for tuning. Right? You have a computer that is arguably one of, if not the most powerful regular OEM computer. With the way your ability to kind of tune and monitor stuff. Just for example, Lund Racing, like the guys who tune the stock computers in these, they have a car on a stock computer running in the 6s,
which is a quarter.
That's wild.
That's
nuts. Yeah.
And
that it can handle
car,
that.
Right?
So
like, it comes from an era where like everybody still has these and wants to mod them, and they're getting to an age where they're not the new thing. So people are like, okay, I can get into it for 60% of their original cost and take the other and mod them and stuff. I feel bad for the Volvoists just because of the tuning. Like, there's just tuning is almost non-existent. You have to get on a boat and go to Sweden to see one of the.
Yeah, and then you'll get your stuff stolen over there. Yeah, they're yanking our part left and right over there. It's crazy.
Yep, 100%.
But yeah, I mean, it's pretty interesting because, like, I mean, to kind of circle back to the Corvette conversation, if you wanted a cheap or a relatively inexpensive Corvette that has a semi-decent aftermarket, C5 is probably the way to go, because a lot of the like C5s and C6 from a chassis perspective are very, very similar, if not close to identical.
And they're still better than the C4. I just have a soft spot. Like I said, I would never steer somebody, oh, you want a cheap Corvette? Get a C4. I'm like, no, get the most beat up C5 in the world you can before, you have to want a C4. Like, you got to go in that with some intention. But if you're looking for a good, I don't know, I think I want to try a Corvette's kind of platform, C5 or 6. And then obviously the nicest one you can afford within that. But even the most beat up C5 in the world is not too bad.
No, and they're so simple, man. Like, you got the first generation LS platform, so that means if you wanted to, taking the LS1 or the LS6 if you got a Z06 or something and putting in an LS3, it's not, difficult. The mounting points are going to be the same. The where the heads live, like in space, right? Like, it's not like you're taking out an LS and putting in a Coyote, right? Like, you don't have to fab an intake manifold or figure out space. It's as bolt-in as swaps get. Swaps are never easy. And this is more for Czech, because I'm sure Elliott knows this as well as we do. But as far as swaps go, it's easy, but swaps in general aren't, because there's so much electronics.
Yeah.
So much, yeah. Yep.
But, Greg, say words.
Sorry, I was just looking at Steve's comment saying, all right, gents, the edible kicked in, and I have to get up at 4:30 p.m. Those two things and the PM and AM typo there, I'm not sure if it is a typo. It's just very funny the way that parsed out.
That's a good edible. He's like, I need to be up tomorrow afternoon. You're like, okay.
That's what
You should be set.
Exactly. Like, man, that is a hell of a sleep aid. 4:30 p.m. and you can go to bed at 9 p.m., 9:30 Eastern time. Man, one, where did you get that? And two, how can I get that?
Yeah, going to bed at 9:30 is yeah. So
in
and I've also
preparation
been
to wake
monitoring
up in the
chat,
afternoon.
and it's like every so often it's like, I think they're talking about Carlisle next year, and I think there was like a crowdfunding get Steve to Carlisle next year, and then it took a turn of kidnapping him, and then somehow I got and Anthony says I should go and do it. Just yeah.
He clarified at 4:30 a.m. And then I do want to say, Vic, no, it's not a clean shave. It's just I'm more backlit than frontlit, and it is trimmed. I'll give you that.
Well, here, how about this? We can actually have clean shaven Elliott.
Oh yeah, I know.
There we go.
By the way, T-shirt in shop and all profit goes to Elliott.
Yeah,
because
if you
it's
just
just fantastic.
Type ! merch in chat and it'll pop up the link.
Yes.
Hopefully. It should. Because
Here,
that's all
I
on
can't wait
Facebook.
for my
I'm gonna try
$5
that.
from this, from all the people who want that on their shirts.
I mean,
that's like just
I
so many
do.
things.
my ultimate goal is to get you, Elliott, to Carlisle next year, and for all three
know,
of us
that
to
would be
wear that shirt.
Or to wear
That'd be
some
so
variation. So, like, you wear an Elliott shirt that's embarrassing. Elliott,
Yes.
He wears
Elliott-
the Greg shirt of me doing the stupid thing from
I
college.
he wears a Chad shirt and I wear a Greg shirt.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like, who are these people?
We're all just supporting each
Dude,
other.
perfect. But we always have to stay together, or else it's gonna be like, they're gonna be like, what's going on? What is that?
He was like,
Or
it's just our friends, and it adds horsepower, so shut up.
And get banners made for Volvos at Carlisle and like put them up in the tents.
Yeah, very, very in for that.
But I think, well, I just want to say again, thank you, Elliott, for hopping on. I think,
Oh, of course, yeah.
how much more time I know time was a thing. How much more time do you have?
I've got it at 20 minutes or so.
Okay, cool.
So
20 minutes?
We'll do 20.
let's like I said, but this is about your new car. So
Yes, and again, I'm really excited for me. Like when they showed me the wheels,
Yeah, so the wheels on this thing look awesome. These are the RTR wheels. Oh,
I know this is a little not
Put
inside
in your
baseball, but just a little behind the scenes thing is originally, I've gotten a little preview of this car. It was like I was like, I love the wheels, so excited, and Chad was like, well, it's unfortunately they got to go for the rubber thing, and I was like, damn, like I kind of mentioned it I think a week ago. I was like, I really didn't have to go because it looks so right.
yeah, agree.
yeah,
And then I believe you told me that there's a chance they can stay.
Yeah,
Yes,
I'd be honest. I do
we're
not
gonna
like
explore
these.
every possible option for that.
Yeah, I do not like these online. I do not like the pictures of them. In person, totally different for me. I think these are hilariously good looking. Like, there is a big difference for me that these... I feel like these don't photograph well because so many wheels look like this and have this sort of like spoke pattern from a ton of different aftermarket and OEM makes. But what you don't get here is sort of the offset. And the offset sort of like sells them for me because the actual bolt pattern is sunk very deep into the center bore of the like where the wheel is, and the wheel is so much more pushed out. That's what kind of sells it for me. Like the in-person thing, I don't see that online really. Here, for me, I love them. So good.
Yeah, and the, like Elliott's point about so I can at any rate, when they told me what size, so tires, I don't want to get into too much about it, just the dealer's doing the right thing, but they told me the tires were smaller. Like they said, oh, the max they can fit out back was like a 295 or whatever, or I'm sorry, 285.
Oh, so small.
It is. I'm coming from 325s.
Yeah,
And when you're rear wheel drive, big horsepower makes a difference.
Yeah. Like I have to have 2/3 of your rubber just on the rear tires just to like make
Just
up
out of
for it.
spite.
But the cool thing is like I said before, you have 275s up front, and for context, that's the stock rear tire size, and 305s out back. So I'm hoping we're gonna actually try this out. I don't know how soon. Probably not until mid-end of summer at the earliest. There's some other stuff and what have you, but 305s out back isn't really that much, and there's not a lot there, so there's a little bit of stretch, like a tiny bit. So 320, it's not a far cry for 325s to fit, or we just decide our 888Rs are insane to begin with. Let's just put 305s back there. So the Contis up front, I was like, man, I'm gonna feel bad about doing a burnout on really nice tires and stuff, and now it's no name tires out back, so it's I have no problem sending those fuckers straight to Jesus.
Are they at least a hilarious like Chinese brand name like we had at on the Car Trek Maserati? Not my Maserati. Sorry, mine has Michelin's, but the Maserati Levante had hilarious.
I remember those tires. They were terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Prin, or I think they're just Prin. It says PRIN with a Goodyear-looking bird kind of thing, and it says High Race HZ2 All Seasons.
Dude, you had me at racing all seasons.
They're whatever the hell those are.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They always those two always pair together. It's like soft compound racing all seasons.
Yeah. So in answer to your question, they are burnout tires. Yes.
Yeah. And I have approval to do a burnout in an undisclosed relation to be to reveal at a later date and time.
Ooh, nice. Chad really is
I'm
talking
pretty
about
sure
my
you
driveway.
could do one without permission.
I mean,
in Greg's
I'll put
driveway.
it to you this way.
Wait, what did you say? Sorry, Elliot.
I said I'm pretty sure you could just do one without a pre-approval in Greg's driveway.
My driveway would just be easy because it's on
His-
an incline, so it's just like, oh, well, that's perfect.
Yeah.
I don't think Greg is underselling the incline.
Yeah, he drove up it for the first time today to get this thing in here. It's not. Yeah, it's terrible.
I got out of the car and I said, fuck that, doing that every day. Like,
Literally.
you know, it's borderline to a point where, like, you wonder what the architect was thinking.
Yeah, it could have been much better planned for sure.
You know, it's one of those. Oh, this is the one right here.
This is why I want to expand my driveway onto the side of my house so I get a third parking spot that's flat, and it's not just my garage, which is obnoxious.
Yeah, it's here. I really want to show.
Are you gonna walk out there?
Yes.
Okay, so Chad's
I know,
going
it's
back
what
to
I was
his
gonna say.
phone cam.
This is
But-
sometimes the only time I can see you guys from
This
my
is-
point of
this
view.
is
So I was like,
why.
I saw the phone
So-
cam alive, so I was excited.
Yeah.
So if we just look out here, okay, it doesn't look so bad, but I'm going to go.
But unmute yourself.
We can't hear you.
I know. So I'm going to go all the way to the bottom here. And like, just to give you guys a scale. Like, this is level. And then you have to go up.
Dang,
Yeah, it's a
that
solid.
is an incline.
It's a solid like 6-7 degree grade. It's a lot.
You know, to like.
Wow.
Luckily, it's not a long driveway. It's just like
That's like
maybe
a
50 feet.
That's like even if you had an automatic and you're like putting the parking brake on kind of driveway.
Yeah, 100%.
I found the limits of the hill assist for this car. It was like, nope, forget it.
I do love manuals with hill assist though. People have no idea how good that is.
It is.
If you haven't experienced, that is, Chad.
I mean, this car already is. This is probably, and it's gonna sound weird because it's 460 horsepower from factory. God, I hate your hill. I'm actually out of breath. I'm woefully out of shape, but
You walked 50 feet uphill, but it is steep. It's obnoxiously steep.
and I was talking the whole time and probably not breathing.
Yeah.
Anywho, what was I gonna say? This car, you wouldn't think it. Great car to teach someone how to drive a stick on, because it has this weird, not even weird, but it raises the RPM automatically, even if you're not in hill assist mode.
Now that is weird, but I bet you'd be cool though. You kind of
It makes
be so easy to get used to, and you get in a car that doesn't have that, you just kill it.
yeah. Well, the RPM dips and stuff. You know, it's like when I had my first Mustang, I still had the Volvo. And it's, you know, these aren't exactly known to be, they make good torque, don't get me wrong, but they're known for being the American V8 that revs.
Yeah.
But even that, the low end torque was still pretty good. Getting in the Volvo, it's like, okay, without boost, this thing kind of gotta be careful with it. And like, different style clutches, like that was designed to be fun, but utilitarian, because hatchbacks over here are kind of sporty cars. Over in Europe, they're family cars.
Yeah.
Our last good hatchback. Well, no, we have the Focus ST. I was gonna say they made the Cruise a hatchback for no reason.
I think that's the best version
that
of the
didn't do-
I
Cruise.
was gonna say that actually looks pretty good.
No, it is. I'm just saying it was like such an odd thing. It was like already established.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
the market doesn't
Agreed.
like. And they were like, "What if we make the Chevy Cruze attachment?" It was like everyone's like, "No one asked for this."
I will say, the facelift on this from 2018, I did not like when it came out. It's grown on me a lot. I actually prefer this to the pre-facelift S550s now.
That's the
Same
thing.
thing
In
with
pictures
the
and stuff,
quad
I hate
exhaust
the catfish grills,
on-
which
on
is
my-
what people who don't like these call them. But there's
Well,
just
this
so
is-
much little
it's
detail
nice.
in the. There's so much detail in the grill that one, in person, it looks a lot better, and two, there's vents for everything.
Oh,
You know,
man.
brake
And
cooling,
you had me at
like
vents.
everything's functional, and I hate venting for venting's sake or fake vents. I love that these things. It has vents under the headlight. I haven't figured out what those are for yet, But no, it's growing.
cool.
But here's the thing: the color black makes all of the difference. I love the color. It just has this sinister look to it. You know.
Also the wing.
The wing definitely helps.
S550.
I mean, you guys have me at vents and wing. I mean, these are like my favorite things.
Vents, wings. I mean, it's everything the Maserati has.
Sean,
Exactly. Gate.
Yeah. Except you have a big park bench and a workstation on yours.
I do.
Sean
yeah.
goes, just go up the driveway in reverse. That's not an option. This driveway is so steep that when you're coming up it, you can't see you see the top half, maybe.
Yeah,
of the garage.
it's enough that when you're like on it and your nose up, you can't see the driveway where you're going.
Oh yeah, you see sky, you're like, uh-oh. But
Yeah.
also, you guys like get snow. I mean, that's got to be like a thing where like I have the option around here. Like, we don't really need to blow our snow blow our driveways, just shovel them. Like, it'll be fine. Like, I feel like that is the driveway you need to do that.
Dude, I have a little one-stage Toro snow thrower, and whenever it hits 3 inches, I'm just out there doing it because I know if it gets any bigger than that,
It's not the first time
gonna
you've said that.
Yeah, shut up. If it gets any bigger than 3 inches, giggity. It's just gonna be, it's just gonna be obnoxious, and I won't be able to like walk up and down my driveway when I'm doing it. So I'm just like, I'm the idiot that's out here doing this when no one else is doing it because
Yeah, it's like
I have to.
snowing.
I mean, well, not for
Yeah.
nothing. Not for nothing. When it's for 3 inches, you have to work harder.
Yeah.
Ah.
Uh,
Okay.
Real
Pretty
quick.
Euphemisms.
Oh, look, Elliott Manning is in the chat. I just want to say.
Oh yeah,
I'm
go ahead.
Rick. Oh, tell him about Elliott coming.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Elliott. So we've decided, we need to band our numbers together because we're too easy to get picked off in the wild with how rare we are.
Yes, we've decided
And,
that Elliott Alvis, Elliott Manning in chat, and the 6-year-old Elliott up the road are going to have Elliott Con. We can have it here in New Jersey at my house.
Founding member. Yeah, exactly. Well, don't worry. There's probably going to be about 7 of us, so you should be able to. As long as the driveway is snow-free, we should be.
I will make sure there will be no snow. I promise. We'll do it in the summer. Oh man!
love
But
it.
Elliott Manning, what's up? Good to see you in chat again, as well as always. But yeah, thank you all for, by the way, the people that are in chat and watching, for joining and being part of our first car reveal live, and obviously to Elliott Alvis joining us doing this. This is
Yes.
obviously a lot of fun. But yeah, this is Chad's,
Love this.
who's not here, new 2019 Mustang that the fire-ridden Mustang paid for. So what you're looking at is a fire-laden Mustang plus insurance money. The end.
See? Yeah. That's a good way to put it. So that means the custom plate on it needs to reflect something like that.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I was going to say like Fireball or something like too obvious, but there's a guy here in Wichita that has, I didn't know it was a thing, but he makes it very known. Just to think there's a Fireball edition Mustang, and not the alcohol or the candy, but it was like some version of something. Either way, I mean, it's like supercharged and it's pretty cool. But he comes to a lot of car shows and it's red. His license plate is Fireball. It says Fireball on like
Fireball.
the seat stuff, and
Yeah.
yeah, it just eventually says Fireball a whole bunch, and I'm like, I got what this is now.
Yeah, I think you need to get a vanity plate, like it's saying with like FAYAH with just a bunch of H's, like fire, and that's just that's
fire.
the name of this one.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I have kicked around ideas. We did talk about it in one of the streams.
Smolder. I don't know, that's
Vesuvius?
too long.
You know, just go Game of Thrones and go unburnt.
Yes,
Ooh, there you go.
Mother of Dragons.
You know, I don't know.
The unburnt one.
Nothing's really hit me that's like has to be on it, other than, finally getting like the tribute or the name of the build on the license plate. Because my head keeps coming back to 412 GT. And I know that it confused the hell out of people because, like, 412, did you de-stroke a Coyote? Tell me more. Like, sorry. Or how did you get 412 cubic inches out of a Coyote?
Yeah, people would get really confused with that.
It's running badly and it only makes 412 horsepower.
Yeah, we've taken horsepower out.
Yes, it revs to 14,000 now, but only... but 412, as everyone in chat knows, 4.12, April 12th was my father's birthday. And that was part of the impetus in getting the first Mustang. Was one last car for me that was similar to the cars he played around with in his youth. Well, I'm not young anymore, but you get the idea. I had already ruined his life by the time he was my age. Now,
Chad, you're still in your youth. Fine. You look great.
Yeah, back hurts. It's I keep coming back to that, but I also so again, where you can see the 5.0, I definitely want to get that font and 4.12 there with some, talk to like an EVOD Industries who do the custom stuff. Where it's not like that. Have actual badging. Versus
custom
badge.
badge.
I do want a vanity plate, but
same font but a custom badge.
That
would be really cool. That'd be a nice touch too.
Yeah.
That's eventually the goal. Once we get to, so again, there's two things I want to get done here. I want to get the boost transfer off the old car into this car, and all of the parts that are there to support it here. The carbon fiber roof, and the that's it. Like basically, well, I do want carbon fiber.
Everything you've been sitting around.
Yeah, I do. With
While
the
it's
roof and
cool,
stuff,
it's
has
way more
opened
subtle
the
on a
rabbit
black
hole
car.
of carbon fiber mirror caps. Like, I do like the idea of carbon
Because
fiber.
carbon
like,
fiber.
like it's going to spiral out of control. That I wouldn't put it past me to at some point have carbon fiber doors.
Oh,
that would be sick.
Basically, from the door forward, you can have everything carbon fiber. Door, quarter panels, hood. I don't know if there's a naked carbon fiber bumper out there. I'm sure there is. But, yeah.
More importantly, where is the shifting lane sticker going to go?
I haven't decided that yet. I couldn't figure that out on the old car.
On the naked carbon fiber bumper.
So, like, one of the things I was looking at, and we'll wrap it up here because I know time is short for you.
I do have to go, but it's
I do
okay.
want to put
Thank
the
you.
Shifting Lanes garage logo somewhere, but as an actual like badge. So I thought about getting custom center caps for the wheels.
That'd be cool.
Yeah,
I thought about doing something similar to that instead of where the GT is in the back, putting it there. There's a lot of little stuff, and that's the stuff for me that it's just like, ooh, let's put it there. No, let's there. No, there. No, there. No, there.
I think since we did this time, and this is a good place to wrap, Elliott, maybe next time we could get a tour of your car collection on live stream. I think that would be very cool.
Oh, yeah, that would be cool.
So we will chat offline about that because I know you have to go. So we're going to wrap. But we'll chat offline. Maybe in the next 2 or 3 streams that you're on, we can do a full tour of the Elliott Alvis car collection.
That would be sick. I can make that happen.
Cool.
Hopefully. The technology.
And if you could do it in worldwide,
I have permission, obviously,
style
from myself. But I'm saying, technology-wise, we'll have to figure. Yeah, we'll talk.
Yeah, we'll make it happen.
But yeah, thank you guys for having me on.
Thank you for joining us as always.
We appreciate it, and we will absolutely.
And congratulations, Chad, on the new car and the new chapter.
Thank you, my man.
All right,
I'm excited and thank you because people in chat, you all know new cars always exciting, regardless of how you got there.
Yes. With that said, we'll catch you next time. Thank you so much. Thanks, Elliott. Thanks, everyone in chat. We'll see you next week. Later, guys.